Hello, welcome to another interesting episode on Trash It. Just before we dive into this topic for today, we've got a Trash It virgin, okay? We've got Abby over there. She's a Trash It virgin. We like to unveil virgins on this show. So Abby, welcome on the show. And thank you for joining us on this topic on such a short notice. I just want to say thank you to everybody on this panel, basically. Victoria, Ade, Jude, so sad. Thank you all for joining because this was a very short notice and you guys came on. So thank you so much and I really appreciate you. But anyway, the reason we're here today is to talk about the issue of Chacha, aka Fanny, okay? Chacha, aka Fanny, for those of you that don't know her, she's a Nollywood actress. She's been around the scene for quite a while. Now, back in October 2020, during the pandemic, you guys might remember that Chacha Eke came out and said she was done with her marriage. She was not interested in it anymore. She's been enduring domestic violence and she wanted to get out, right? Not long after that, she was in hospital and the news came out that she was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, which is a mental health condition. And everybody was praying for her and thinking, okay, well, if she said it's not domestic violence, it's bipolar, we hope she recovers. And, you know, because she, at the time, I think she had 3 kids and I think she was pregnant, right? But anyway, fast forward to now, today, 28th of June, 2022. Early hours of this morning, Chacha Eke Fanny released a video, or she released a write-up on her Instagram page, and I'm just going to read what it says. It says, I sincerely and publicly apologize for living a lie these past years. True to random speculation, there has been trouble in my perceived paradise, which I presume is her marriage she's referring to. For the second time in 2 years, I'm here again on social media, boldly declaring that I am done with my marriage. My long overdue, relentless stance on this is, of course, no news to us and Fanny, the doctors and my parents. If push comes to shove and suddenly I'm incommunicado, my lawyers, the welfare department and the Nigerian police force have my testimonials in recorded video clips, statement set for public release on all social media apps and national newspapers. So she brought this statement out saying that she's done with the marriage because the marriage was not all she tried to make the public believe that it was. And she also, at the time, told us she wasn't going for domestic violence. It was just bipolar disorder. Now she has 4 children. So when you guys saw this news, I mean, because she also said, I'd rather come out now alive than come out as a corpse. So Ade, let me come to you first. Ade and Jude, you guys are the men on this panel. What is going on here? Why is it that women find it so difficult when they are in this kind of relationships? Do you think that they are struggling to make it, to allow it to continue to save face? And if so, why? Ade, let me come to you first, and then I'll go to Jude.
Sure, we've had similar discussion on similar things before, which I don't understand why people in a situation that they're not happy, you know, violence, whatever, they stick to it. They try to cover up the crack, you know, making the public think, oh, everything is fine. You've seen so many people lately this year that you're now saying that they're all living a life of lie, you know, and they try to deceive people. But maybe it's just the culture, the way that they think marriage is a do or die affair for them. It's something that they must achieve in their life. Oh, I'm married, I'm a wife, you know, and they think it makes them happy. No, maybe they haven't actually been in a society where they can see that they can actually survive on their own. They can do better without having a man or having a woman. I mean, I don't know why people want to stick with it. Because for me, and to be honest with you, I don't feel sorry for people like that because they lie to themselves. They deceive themselves. They deceive people that could have helped them, you know, and they sit there. So now she's coming out. Well, good luck to her, whatever she decide. So for me, I really don't know why people deny the truth and stay in a very terrible situation. It makes no sense.
Okay. Jude, let me come to you as a man. I mean, what do you think would be going through the mind of the husband at this particular time? Because one minute your wife comes out and says she's done with the marriage, she's got bipolar. And then almost 2 years later, she comes out again to say, actually, I'm actually done with this marriage. What is going on? As a man, how can a man drive his wife to this extent where she's trying to save face and she's trying to push? And when she came back after that, what happened in 2020, she was acting a lot. She really threw herself into her acting. And she was acting. I'm sure she must have, between then and now, I'm sure she must have acted 10 movies. And I don't know if Victoria, for the Nollywood scene, is that normal for you to have acted up to 10 movies in like almost 2 years? But Jude, let me come to you first. What do you think the man must have done to push her to this extent?
I don't know. I don't have an answer to that. I don't know the guy. I don't know him. I don't know these people that much. So I absolutely do not have an answer to that. If someone come out after a couple of years to say now she's fed up, then she's fed up. Maybe, I don't know, are we still in lockdown in Nigeria? Maybe the whole lockdown prevented her from doing it. So I really don't know what's pushed her. Maybe it's the bipolar. Maybe she's really mental. I don't know. Maybe she's got ill health. I really don't know. I don't know whether the guy, I don't know. I really don't know. I can't answer that question on behalf of the guy.
But what do you think in marriages push the women to get to this extreme? And what do you think some men, not all men now, what do you think they might be doing in marriages to push women to this extreme?
A lot of stuff can happen. It's not normally domestic violence, whether it be physical or emotional. You can just be somebody who don't have any love to give, and women can get fed up and move out. It's the same for the man as well. So there's a lot of issues that can arise and make the woman think, you know what, there's no point in this. And they would have been in the relationship for a while, bearing all sorts because of society and family, what family would say and all of that. But there's a lot that a man can do, or there's a lot that can happen in marriages that will make one want to pack their bags and leave. It can be lack of love, can be lack of trust, can be the guy's a serial cheater and she just think, you know what, you don't change. It could just be as easy as is a bloody liar. He lies about everything. Somebody that she could no longer trust, or somebody who's not really a father to the kids, don't really carry out that fatherly role, don't play the husband role. So there's a lot that can really push people's buttons. Okay. It's not a single thing.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Jude. Victoria, let me come to you. I know when this happened back in 2020, you had something to say and you sort of, I'll let you say, tell us what happened. But what are you getting from what's going on? Do you think she's going to come back again and say, actually, no, I have bipolar or I was going through a psychotic episode? What do you think is going to happen this time?
Yes, most likely she's going to do the same again. Yeah, she's going to come out and say, and give another excuse because, like the first speaker said, I don't feel sorry for her anymore because I've found out that a lot of things regarding entertainment in Nigeria is a farce. I think the more fake you are, the more you pretend to be perfect, the more your fame and everything. In fact, the more scandal you have, the more popular you get. Right? So there just has to be drama around you, right? Why I say this is because this second time around, honestly, she should have just kept it to herself and said, you know what? I came out before, I cried, and I went back and I accused myself of being something that I'm not. Maybe nobody will listen to me. She should have just done whatever she needed to do without coming on social media to tell anybody anything, right? So, like you rightly mentioned, she's been doing so many movies after that time. And yes, these people, they kind of want to like fly on people's sympathy to make money. Anything scandal gets them money and attention in Nigeria. She started at that period, she started her YouTube channel, and I was one of the people she used as a topic because when she made that video, I saw somebody who was drained, frustrated, very, very traumatized, like she was even running away. And a few days after that video, I heard, because I know the younger brother, who also introduced me to the father, and was telling me most of the things the father was doing and they were going through. I mean, this girl, her father is Her father is an educationist, if I have to put it that way, like a seasoned lecturer or something like that, who is also into politics. So he's not some local man in the village. He's well educated, you know, and he gave his daughter all the support. But when there's a substance in control of her reasoning, it's a bit like what happened between Bobby Brown and Whitney Houston. So they had to give up because she couldn't live without her supplier. She needed the supply. And the supplier knew that she couldn't live without him. And so it's a bit like, let them continue doing their thing. You understand? Because and that period I heard that she had just actually found out that the guy had fathered another child with somebody else, and she lost it because she felt she's the breadwinner. The guy is a cameraman.
Oh,
yeah, the guy
I thought he was a producer.
Yeah, cameraman, producer, but how many movies really? You know, and she is the one that works for him and works with other people as well. So she does his movies and works for other people just to generate income. You know, so she was the main source. And all this happened, and she was popping out kids, and I even heard they were living in a hotel and stuff like that. And I'm like, wow, really? You know, I wasn't just the only artist. There was, I think, Mona Lisa Chinda and Georgina Onoha. You know, we were like ready to offer her help and support in any capacity. And then she comes out to say, to swear to God. That's even the one that I'm thinking, this one, I swear to God, my husband has never touched me, seriously. So what's been going on since? And then, hey, God, this girl in her video, she said I was jealous and I wanted to break her home, that there was nothing going on, you know, and that at this point in time, she just wanted people to mind their business. And I'm like, me, in the industry in Nigeria, I know I've not acted for God knows how long, but I never met Chacha one-on-one because during my time, she wasn't there, you know. But because I saw her like a little girl, and I wanted to offer some support based on my experience, and the way she just came out attacking me, calling me out, and I'm like, okay. So now everyone is like, Victoria said it, and you were lying and you were pretending. And they were going on taking pictures, you know, as in acting out all the love. What's my own? And she was suffering. Her brother would still tell me that she's dying, you know, she's suffering. I'll tell her brother, what do you want me to do? You reached out to me like a senior colleague, told me the issue and wanted me to get involved. I even sent the husband a message at that time. I said, guy, do you beat your wife? Are you for real? Like, I hope it's not true, because at least that one, I know him. I know him. I said, I hope it's not true that you touched this girl. You know, of course, he didn't respond to me. But she came all out, acting up, you know, and I'm like, look at this one. You understand? So she now coming out to cry out for help is hilarious, because she's going to probably go back and claim, you know, she has schizophrenia or something like that. Yes, no. So it's just a sad case. The lifestyle in Nigeria is so fake. The artists are so fake. I can count on my fingers how many real artists we have based on their income and the quality of their acting. Every other thing you're seeing is make-believe.
Would you agree that majority of the actors in Nigeria, they are attention seekers?
Yes. Oh yes. Oh yes. Majority are attention seekers. They will do anything. They will go naked on the streets just to what was it called? Just to be called
out.
Get
the audience.
To get the audience or anything. Oh yeah. Oh gosh. Yes. Because my point is, if you don't put everything you're doing on social media, nobody will know. I go out. I party with my friends. I do. It's not everything I post. You don't have to know where I am, which hotel I am, which shopping bags I have. You're showing us all these things, but you're not showing us the sponsor. How dare you? Don't post it and tell people it's your hard work. When did they start paying people 1 million in Nigeria? As in for acting roles? When? Just recently now. The people that were on 1 million was like in Kemowo 2 years back. Every other person was below 1 million, you know, and you're driving some big car, you're buying houses, you're claiming you're influencing. How much do they pay an influencer? Has any influencer got 200 million from influencing anything? How much is the product? What are they selling? Yes, now, what are they selling? It's all lies. They get popular. Some big man sees them, gets their contacts.
Yes.
They sleep with them. And that's why do you think they go on social media and be shaking their bum? Is shaking your bum, is that what makes you an actress? Or, you know, they go on social media, they wear skimpy things. Everybody is doing plastic surgery. Why are you doing plastic surgery on your body for? You're not confident in yourself. You know that the men need a specific figure to pay. The more your figure 8 is, the higher money you're going to get per night or whatever. So everybody is an investment. BBL is now an investment. So everybody has to have flat tummy, big bum, pointed breasts, so that the money keeps coming in. That doesn't make you an actress. Let me even divert a bit. There was a movie they were talking about glamour girls, blah, blah, blah. I now said, okay, I had some free time. I said, let me watch Glamour Girls. As in, I was expecting at least something close to what the original Glamour Girl. I couldn't even watch it for 5 minutes. I was like, what's this nonsense? So, being a stripper, is that what was the story there? Man, I just switched off the thing. That what nonsense. That they shouldn't have called it Glamour Girls now. They should have just given it another name, because they spoiled the whole interest of Glamour Girls for me.
Yeah.
I was expecting Glamour Girls like something, but it was just rubbish. So, for you to be an actress, you have to have a good body. You have to be able to be naked. I feel ashamed. Let me say it on your program. I feel ashamed being called a Nigerian actress. I said, don't put Nollywood next to my name. If you can't call me anything, don't see. I'm not even acting like that. My acting now is just, you know, call me. Please, I studied something. I do something else. I feel ashamed being called an actress, because it's all about sex and money. And I'm not that. You know, it's such a disgrace that a man, once they introduce you as an actress, the man is now thinking of how to shag you.
Yeah.
They're not thinking, oh, what performance, what movie. They don't even want to know. Once you are an actress, it is, I want to shag this person. That's all. And that's such a, so when I go out with people that are my friends, don't call me an actress. Don't introduce, just call me Victoria Inyama. That's all. Because I feel so ashamed of that name, actress. You understand? So
yeah, thank you, Victoria, for that. Because the thing is, in your day, acting was so different from what it is now. Now it's so diluted, it's watered down, the ethics are no longer there. And everybody's just there trying to make big money, bigger than the previous actress or actor did. Susa and Abby, let me come to you with this. As women, you've seen, you've watched the video that we did last year, or you know what happened to Chacha last year, and she denied it. And as you heard Victoria said, you know, she said her husband has never touched her, laid a finger on her, and she said she just has bipolar. There's nothing wrong with her. She's not going for any domestic violence. And here we are, almost 2 years later, she's now coming to actually say she's going through domestic violence and the marriage is not as blissful as she made us believe. Now, as women, what do you think was the driving force behind her denying and even when she had people there to help her, she wasn't interested? What was the driving force behind it then? And why do you think she's now coming to actually admit what she could have admitted two years ago? So let me come to you, then Abby, I'll come to you.
Yes, I agree with Victoria totally about her coming out. Like, There's no point for you to come out if actually whatever I see has happened. I'm just going to talk from a layman view because I'm not an actress, I'm not into showbiz, and I don't have an idea what's happening in the corridors of actors and actresses in Nigeria. My point is, why are you ruining chances you're supposed to have a platform where you can actually have a good voice if ever you are even experiencing domestic violence, and then you use your platform properly. Obviously, everybody has got their own intention, like Victoria said. And then secondly, if maybe you were not ready, because when it comes to domestic violence, people that are experiencing domestic abuse, it's not always in black or white. There are always some gray areas. And sometimes if the decision has to totally come from the person, from the victim, no matter how much you help. And sometimes you can even look like you are pushing them too much and then they betray you instead because they just want to secure their face. It happens. Just like our one is done publicly. Maybe the first time she wasn't ready or she was ashamed. Out of shame, some people they just lie and say it's a lie, it didn't happen. Maybe because they don't want to leave yet and they've gone back. So they'll say, okay, it didn't happen. They live in denial. It happens in every day. And then when it happened the second time, what she would have just done was, silently, quietly just come out and let people start hearing rumor. Oh, I don't think she's still married. Don't say anything. You are not obligated to explain yourself to the public for Christ's sake, So you have used your platform. Not only have you messed up your platform right now, trying to spoil chances and making domestic violence as serious as that issue is. You really call people that are actually victims, and then you're acting like you are insane. You know what I mean? So nobody is even going to take you serious at this time because who knows what is going to come out in another week or 2 weeks after. So it looks like you're actually on drugs. So that's my point. It's not as if whatever is happening in our life is not peculiar. Like when you see other people on the street, people that actually experience domestic violence, one day they come and say, oh, this man is actually abusing me. It takes a lot to actually come to that junction to say, you know what, I am standing up for myself and I cannot do that anymore. So some people, they can just jump up. But there are some times where, it comes back from a very long line of, not having confidence in yourself. Somebody you have kind of laid all your life on this person. And this person has kind of built you up to an extent where you know that this person, everything, your family doesn't mean anything to you. And that person happens to be abusive to you.
But sorry, so sad to cut you, but do you think there is a possibility where a man who wants to control, because I know people say grooming, okay, sometimes young girls or whatever, young boys are groomed by the predator. Do you think in this case as well, when it comes to domestic violence, do you think the men can also groom their wives to the point where they start to control them, and that control, the wife does not see it as domestic violence anymore? They just see it as the norm.
Yeah, going back to being narcissistic, like what Victoria said, if you meet people that have that, it's just that at a point, you get your mind twisted and you question everything that's happening in your life. Mm-hmm. It looks like, oh, it's not actually being abusive. Maybe I made him react to it. There are situations where they put it in a way that they never say sorry to you. They make it look like it's your fault. And then you keep barging for them. At some point, you get to a place where they kind of know you. They know how your system works. They know how your brain works now. And then they just play you. Because you have actually denied to a lot of people that could come to your rescue. You're not even brave enough to meet people that can say, listen, you are being used. This is actually happening. You just keep selling that pill, thinking that at some point, this is my husband. I don't think he has any bad evil wishes for me or something like that, So yeah, it actually happened, and it's not grooming. I don't want to call it grooming. It's just, being plugged into that narcissistic environment, toxic environment, believing this person, and the person have been able to get to their brain and use them, and that's it. It just takes that. You have to actually meet somebody that's actually wearing the shoes that can tell you how it made them feel. At some point, you just begin to believe this person over everybody. And when your mind is even telling you are being abused, you just want them to say, okay, sorry, and I will go back to him. Mm-hmm. It's like your life is at the mercy of this person. You can't even control it. People that even live that environment, it takes a lot of many, many years for them to actually start believing in themselves and say, you know what, I don't actually deserve to be treated the way I'm treated. You know, it's just a mental thing. It's just messed up. Like I said, if actually what's happening in her life, she seems like someone that is actually damaged. And I feel sorry for her because when she moves away, at some point she wants to meet somebody else. These are the people that actually go about hurting other people and causing toxic environment. There are children as well damaged from the situation. So many things damaged, families damaged from this whole situation, you know, because of this whole one person that have continued twisting on that person's mind, and she is not opening that door. She opens it, and then when people are coming, she shuts it again, as if she's on drugs or something. I don't want to say what I'm not sure of, but I think that there's something else that's wrong with her, apart from the domestic thing.
Thanks, Sosa. Abby, let me come to you, because Sosa, you just said something. It's as if she wants to open the door, but then she closes it. Why do you think she's closing that door? Why do you think she was very quick to say, okay, yes, I'm going through domestic violence, I'm done with my marriage, and then quickly she retracted and said, actually, I've been diagnosed with bipolar? Why do you think she was able to make that retraction? And also, let's not forget, because these are so-called celebrities, they have a fan base and people are looking up to them. So when a celebrity that people are looking up to comes out and says, you know what, I've been married for X amount of years, I've got X amount of kids, but I've been enduring domestic violence and I can no longer endure it. People that are their fan base are going to think, if this woman can come out to own up to what she's been going through, she's giving me strength to also come out and own up to what I've been going through and find a way out. But now she's not able to, she wasn't able to do that 2 years ago. How do we know how many people must have endured domestic violence because she remained in it? So Susan, let me come to you. What do you think, is she doing more harm than good? And why is it that she was not able to leave the relationship 2020 when she first came out to say she was enduring domestic violence?
Okay, thank you very much. Everybody has pretty much said what's in my mind, but the thing that really strikes me is what we are seeing with her now is a pattern. So it is now a pattern that is being developed, where she comes out and says, I was abused. Then she says, I was sick. Now, the fact that she called herself bipolar, as a Nigerian, it disturbs me because I know that there's a big stigma associated with mental health, where we come from. And a lot of people do not accept. I can tell you for a fact that I know people that have mental health issues, when they even go for treatment in the psychiatric hospital, they make sure they don't take a card. It's that bad, so that they don't have a record of them having psychiatric treatment. So what comes to my mind is the shame of coming out to say I'm abused, or giving yourself a mental illness, looking at it from the Nigerian society, which is worse. So then coming back with a pattern again to say it after denying that you're still going through it, it all just points to me that she's not okay. So I don't think I don't think that everything is fine, in my opinion. That's me. I'm not a doctor, I can't diagnose her, but there's definitely something that's not right with her, especially because she has kids for this man. And secondly, why come to social media? Why? If your marriage is not working, does that need an announcement? Why come to social media? So the first thing I think about is motive. Why is she doing it? And thirdly, I also know she's got kids. When she's doing all these things, is she thinking about the effect of what's that's going to trickle down to her family, to her kids, to her brothers and sisters, to her parents, how her family is going to be viewed? Because I know one thing about our Nigerian society, that your attitude is being judged on your larger family members. So what is she doing? Also, with Nigeria, we know a lot about endorsements. And so if you want endorsements as an actress and you say domestic violence, you come out and say you lied, then you say you have mental illness. Where are you going to get endorsements from? Who wants a mad, somebody, because bipolar is considered as madness in our society. Then the most thing that strikes me odd, and Vicky talked about it, is that the husband has not said anything. So if you are being lied on, you just keep quiet. She's retracting, you keep quiet. We are not saying come down to social media and throw But I mean, you can give a lawyer statement and say nothing. She's telling us, oh, the police has video documents. And if they have all those things, why haven't they arrested anybody? Why are they holding on to it till something happens to you before things will be done? So I just think that there's a problem. I don't think everything doesn't add up. It doesn't. So at this point, I can't even say sincerely from my heart that she's suffering from domestic violence or she has mental illness or maybe substance abuse. I don't even know what's going on, because if you have a pattern of retracting, you have a pattern of putting out lies, you have a pattern, then nothing really adds up. It's just so confusing. I really can't put my finger to it.
Yeah, because it's from what you've just said, it kind of makes sense, because if the man is really an abuser, how is it that even though she says she's gone to the police and she's made video recording and statements and all, how is it that he has not been arrested?
Exactly.
I mean, or do they not arrest people for domestic violence in Nigeria? I don't know. Victoria, do they not? Do they not?
If the police has the kind of evidence that will make them arrest you if something happens to her, then they can actually arrest him before something happens. So it all goes to prove to me that maybe there's no video evidence.
Yeah.
She just said it. Well, I can't say yes because nobody knows what happens behind closed doors. However, I think there's a deeper problem, and people should really forget about everything she's saying and just look into the person and just find out, is she okay? Because at this point, yes, thank God, we have someone with an insight that said, oh, the brother reached out to me, but it's like everybody's just leaving her to her devices. She's on social media. One thing I know about Nigeria is that the family will give a statement and say, well, we are looking after our daughter at this time. We want our privacy. Nobody's saying anything. She's the only one just talking. The abuser is not saying anything. She made such an accusation and she went back to that same house and the man took her back. I know Nigerian men enough to know that if the man takes her back, the family will shout, and nobody's saying anything. So at this point, are they even all together in it? I don't just know.
Yeah, something is not right, because let me okay, so obviously we say sometimes we want to give people a second chance. Jude, let me come to you with this. We want to give people a second chance. So she came out nearly 2 years ago to say, she was going through domestic violence and all of that. And then she retracted the story. Now, people would often say, oh, just see, hopefully, give him a second chance or whatnot. Now, it's happened again. So the saying that abusers never change, is that, would you say this is a good indication to say abusers never change? Let me come to, because if he did that last year and she said, no, he's never touched me. And now she's actually come and say, actually, I'm sorry for living a life for the past nearly 2 years. I've been enjoying domestic violence. So what do you make of the situation?
I don't know. I don't think if this fits into the abusers never change, because like Avi said, there's no evidence to show that she was really abused, apart from hearsay and what she's come out to say previously and what she come out to say now. I'm a social worker, so I work in this field. I know these things. I was in children's services before, and we've worked with people who've experienced significant domestic violence. We've worked with first-time abuse, and we've worked with the perpetrator and the person that was abused. And families have gone back to live together, and abuse has never happened again, at least during my time working with them. So there are cases where it happens just round and round the cycle. And to be fair to our society here that is a bit sane, they work with evidence. And recently, I don't want to mention in my work, there's a case, a lady came out and said her husband's been abusing her, and that he actually sodomized her, raped her from behind, and that's why she gets loose bowels and all of that crap. And we panicked and said, yay, we got one. And it turned out there was a lie. The husband never touches her. She sodomizes herself with a wooden ladle. So because her poo-poo is too hard and she has to do that herself, but yet she goes saying it was the man. And what if the whole world just go gung-ho and throw that man in the pit?
Because
so
that's a
things
very
happen
believable story, isn't it?
Yeah, so things happen. And so with this Thatcher case, this is the same girl that the deputy governor gave money after her first case.
It was, wasn't it?
Yeah, so we don't know. Abby said something interesting. We don't know whether she's really dealing with significant mental ill health that will make her come. Maybe the guy, like I said, I think I remember I said the last time, the guy should seek to help her. If she has mental ill health, is he just leaving her to her own devices to when she's really down and come out and say stuff and oh she'll get well again? Because I had relatives who were well then, and I didn't understand it a lot until later on. One time they're very well, and the other time they're so low they do a lot of stuff, and it turned out they had bipolar. So there's no evidence to show that this guy is beating her on a daily until we have that. She's the one who said it before. She came out, retracted the story. She's come out to say it again. Maybe the guy's just playing the long game. Say, look, don't worry, I know my wife. She'll come out again and say different thing. Maybe it's true that both of them use drugs, and these are kind of the patterns we see with people who use drugs. With Whitney Houston and Bobby Brown, like Vicky rightly said, we got to an extent we didn't know who was abusing who. Whether it was Whitney abusing Bobby or it was Bobby abusing Whitney, we didn't know because they were in that relationship. And I have seen a lot of that sort of relationship when both of them are dependent on drugs. We really can't tell who's abusing who. And also I've seen a lot of abusive relationship where the police have been involved in this country. And the woman will say, I don't want to do anything. And they continue to live again. And it happens, and it happens, and it happens, and it happens. But in Nigeria, you to be fair to the lady, this is a place where there's so many expectations from society, especially our family. Forget about society, now our own family. You're married to this guy, don't come back to my house. Maybe that's one thing playing out. If that lady get up and leave, who's going to keep that woman in their house with their children? How many of us are going to do that? Again, she's not just an ordinary Nigerian anymore. She's an actress. She's got a public face. She'll be the talk of the town. So she could say, to save face, let me lie. Who knows? So there's speculations everywhere until, she said she's dropped some whatever evidence is somewhere in case anything happened to her, blah, blah, blah. All of that is story. People who say that in the UK said, if anything happened to me, please hold this government. Those are all stories. If she's dropped anything like that, the police would have probably acted upon it. Again, like Abby said, there might not be any photographic evidence to pinpoint the husband to it. Again, this is Nigeria where men are sort of powerful in the society. So it might be a very, 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 very connected person. And no matter how far you go with the police, it gets all the information and just say, let her be, she'll suffer and come back. So there's a lot playing here. So we don't want to say it's a case of somebody abused once and they abuse again, because there are cases to prove that's not been the case. But for her, it's difficult to say what's happening because it's been a long time. Are you saying she's been indoors suffering its abuse constantly and she didn't come out to say it, or there's been a law in the abuse and now it picked up again and that's why she's coming out? We don't know. We don't know what she's going to say tomorrow. Maybe she just wants a reaction from Victoria. We don't know. Maybe she wants a reaction from Victoria. Say, yes, I said it. YouTube season episode 2.
It might just be traffic that's going to her page or so. Maybe it's a plan work.
Exactly. We don't know yet.
But it's true that people can be abused and not able to come out. But if you are like most times, people that are in that kind of environment where you get abused are not able to come. It's either maybe there's control financially. You don't have that capacity to do anything.
But she's the breadwinner.
Yeah, she looks like she's, according to Victoria, she's the breadwinner of that. She has a platform. You're an actress, for crying out loud. You have fan base, So why will you stupidly use your platform and ridicule a great cause like domestic violence and throw yourself in, throw yourself out, throw yourself out? It doesn't really add up, and it doesn't make sense to me looking at it.
Because we don't really know what to believe now, whether she's really going through domestic violence or whether this is just another bipolar episode. We don't really know. Victoria, because obviously, Jude, you said something about maybe the family as well and how supportive are they? And I know, Victoria, you mentioned about being in communication with the brother. When this first happened in 2020, how supportive are the family? Are they the kind of family that want her to remain in the marriage and make it work because they don't want her to bring shame to the family?
No.
Or are they the kind of family that will say, no, pack your load, come back home? with your children?
I said her father is an educated, the guy is a professor in some American university.
Wow.
And he's now into politics, yes. The father has even rehoused her.
Okay.
Right?
Now we.
The father has rehoused her and the children. The father is well able and capable of taking care of her. But due to the influence, the man says, I will not be your supply. So if you're not going to leave your supply, then so be it. But even if she cries out today and says, I want to come home, there is space for her in the house. The guy her father is doing, she comes from a very good family. Her younger brother, oh my God, she pushed the guy under the train, if I have to use that kind of metaphor. Like, she threatened that she disgraced the guy.
Yeah,
Physically, when the guy went to confront the husband, physically, she banned him from ever coming near them. She did another video. She did another video on the poor guy as well. So even this afternoon, I chatted with the guy because he's doing an event somewhere. And I said, you're doing your event, minding your business. He says, he doesn't want someone to come and insult him. So just as I'm reading it, they too, they are reading it. They can't be bothered. But from the look of things, it seems she has left a while ago. But the guy is now threatening her. So she decides to speak out.
I see.
Oh. So she's left the home with the children.
She's left the home. They're not together. Okay. They're not living together. But the guy is now threatening her. Yeah. Because in as much as the guy is the supply, she is also the supply. So
yeah, it's a codependent relationship.
Yeah. That's what it is.
Yes, so it's the children that I feel sorry for.
It's very difficult when you're in codependent relationship, especially when there's drugs. Allegedly, there are drugs involved. I have a neighbor, and the wife is actually the one that's got restrictions not to visit, and the man has the custody of the child, a young child who's about 8, but yet the woman visits on a daily. And they fight on a daily, and they scream on a daily, and he calls the police, and the police forcefully removes her, and she's here the next morning because they're codependent on drugs. Both of them use crack, so they don't know what they're doing most of the time. So they're codependent on drugs. The police can't do much. Take her out, bring her back. Take her out, bring her back, and she's there. He never visits her, but she visits.
But the child is in the mix of this, Jude.
He's there. He's there with the father. It's where he's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a safe place for him, but he lets the woman in because, for example, if I take crack on a daily and I normally spend £250 on crack daily, and now I'm unable to afford it, and I know that my ex-wife has some at home, I'll find a way to make relationship with her to get crack back. It's all about the crack.
It costs.
Oh my gosh, it's very expensive. It depends on how much you spend. I've worked with customers who the family left millions, proper millions of pounds for hotels and everything. And that money's just going down the drain. And I'm standing in front of them saying, my God, look at what I'm fighting for. So crack is, and when we sat with the police and we asked this lady, please be sincere, tell us the truth, be honest. How much do you spend on crack daily? It was close to £500. And she ran into debt because the thing with dealers is, they'll tell you they'll give you on credit. So the debts keep piling up. So when you get a little money like £2,000 from your trustees, you give them, you keep buying. It's an endless cycle. So if they're both dependent on any sort of drugs, you can see why she goes out, the guy threatens, she pulls out the video and go back because they're dependent on this thing. She can't get it from other people. He can't get it from other people. They understand each other. So it might be the case. She's crying out for help again, like I said before, but the society where we come from, who's going to give her that help? Most of the NGOs there, they are there to even fleece the victims. So she's stranded, and she's in a very stranded place.
Okay, so
your country quickly say it's not just drugs. I've seen situations like that they are dependent on each other based on sexual fantasies.
Exactly. That's drug too. Sexual fantasies are drugs. And sex is drug.
Because they make an agreement and they do these weird things together. We can't actually understand what's bringing them together. They cannot be together and they cannot be apart.
Yeah.
So
sex is itself drug. It's the highest drug, yeah.
Now, the people in the middle of this are the children, right? She's got 4 children. I mean, the children were used to being in a home where the father and the mother were there. You know, you see videos of them on Instagram, they're happy and all sorts, you know. And
They
then
look
all of a
happy.
sudden,
That's what you see. They look happy,
They look
as Abby
happy.
said.
they look,
They never told you they were happy.
well, that's what they're trying to make us believe. So let me believe
Exactly.
that they are happy. And then all of a sudden, the children are removed from the home, and the father is no longer there. How is this going to play on the mental health of the children? Eduki, let me come to you with this. How do you think this is going to play on the mental health of the children?
First and foremost, we should ask, even when they were together, were the children getting the best out of the home? So like I said, they look happy. Do you know if it was a photo prop? It might just be what they want us to see. Sometimes even leaving the environment is better for the kids. Sometimes not being around it works better for the kids' mental well-being, in my opinion. So if the home is not happy, the mom is not grounded, the dad is doing his own thing, and the children are there, it's not the best case scenario for them anyway, in my opinion. Now, in the best case scenario for any child is to grow up with mother, father, family unit. But family unit is basically what we make of it. So if the mother and father live in the same house and the children in that same house, sometimes might even be toxic for the kids. So if the kids are away from that environment and they are in a better place where they can be nurtured, works well. Might be with dad, might be with mom, might be with a relative, we never know. But at the end of the day, I can't really say if it's going to be better for them to be in the house or out of the house, except I know the true picture of what the house was. And the truth of the matter is that we can only get that from the well-being and the welfare of the kids. But we should also realize that when kids are born into a toxic environment and they grow in that toxic environment, sometimes they don't even know better. They just think that what they grow up with is normal. And it's not. And that's why in most cases of abuse, women stay because of the children. But think about it. You're just giving your children trauma, which they will transfer and make another person's child suffer for the childhood trauma that they went through.
It is an endless cycle, though.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of men and women beating each other growing up. So I could have internalized that. I don't know if I sat with a counselor now for some therapy sessions. I'm pretty sure they will drag all of that out of me to say I've internalized a lot. We grew up seeing all of these things. If I had remained with my mom and my dad where they were living, maybe I wouldn't have seen all of this because we were in gated communities. But once we came down to Benin, lived in this area, I saw fathers and mothers beating themselves to nakedness out on the streets. So I saw men who could beat their wife, beat them well. I saw women who could beat their husbands, beat them well. Mama Ijiro used to beat Papa Ijiro a lot. Drag him by the wrapper and drag his ass and beat him. He was playing draft always with the men, and the woman would pounce on him. So I saw that. And, we grew up seeing all of that. I grew up seeing dudes who were older than me beating their girlfriends on a regular basis. They get so much as wink to another guy or so much as show attention to another guy. It was beat to the extent of rape as well. But we didn't know what all of these were, which is your girlfriend is your property. So all of that is there. So what
in your own home unit, what was it like?
I was with my mother, so there was no man to beat her up. So that's one thing. So I grew up with that. So what I'm saying,
that alone has molded you differently. So the fact that you saw it, but it was happening out of your immediate environment.
Yeah, it was happening out of it. But our tenants were beating each other too. So our tenants could be part of our home. And you laugh. Well, so Tasha could have, I don't know about Tasha's family. Maybe she grew up saying the same thing. Maybe the man grew up saying the same thing. And it just become internalized and it become an endless cycle. The children will say it and they think it's normal. I still hear people talk sometimes and I cringe. Domestic violence is not just about physical. It's also about the language you use. It's about the language you use. It's not about just the emotional and all of that. It's about the language you use. Do you just say, Madam, give me food there? To me, I think that is domestic violence.
Yeah.
Madam, 11 o'clock, you walk in. Have you prepared my food? Bring me water to wash hand. To me, I cringe when I hear that. I think it's domestic violence.
Yeah.
But that this is how they talk. This is how they've known. They might not mean anything to it, but this is how they know to talk. Is my food ready? You don't cook, finish. What did I tell you? Somebody recently told me, look, let me just tell you, no. My wife, the kitchen is her own. I have told her the parlor is my own. Anything that concerns the parlor is my own. You see that kitchen? And that's why I don't touch it. And I interpreted it like, so you don't cook? No. Sometimes I cook. I say, so you don't assist in the kitchen? That alone is DV, but he doesn't know any better because back home, these roles were gendered. The woman was in the kitchen cooking and feeding the men, while the men go out to work or go out to farm or go out to play draft until Mama Ejiro comes out and beat Papa Ejiro. So it was like that. It was gendered role. And some of us have grown like that. And they see to be in the kitchen is so domesticated, like they don't want to do it. I've said it so many times here. I get very irate when my wife asks my daughter to go sweep or go do something in the kitchen when my boys had sat there playing game. I ordered them. I said, RSS, sit down. Daniel, you go do it. I don't know how to do that. I said, go stand there and learn. The next time I want to see you doing it. Because that's how we grew up. We grew up like I only had two sisters. So the way my mom did it was, as you grow older, you wash the dishes. And you know when I say wash dishes, I'm not talking about dishes. Wash plates with soda. With soda. Your hand go peel.
Water is running from the sink.
Your hand go peel. Inside basin, basin.
Yeah, because there's
if
no
you don't use the
water.
And if you don't use the water, well, you'll be in trouble. I grind pepper with Olo. All my hand go to pepper me. I had to use Orwe to get. I swept the compound. I was a great sweeper. I used to sweep compounds for people for money self. I was a great sweeper. So as I grew older, my sister followed into my line. She would do all of that. As the other one followed, it was like that. It was due to age. So like you said, Abby, you're right. In my home, I internalized all of that. Probably that's why I'm in the kitchen. God forbid I was in a home where I saw my mom always serving my dad, kneeling down for my dad to eat. My dad will finish eating before my mom then come and eat. I don't think society should blame me if I start doing the same. Society need to re-educate me. Well, I see this every day, and I'm strange hearing these things. And this is like almost every home in Nigeria now. This is how they talk. You can see it in our movies. You can see it in our music. You can see it in everything like Vicky said, like Victoria said. It's there. So it's just a crazy big cycle just going round and round and round. You need to hear some phone calls from some people. You'll be shocked. The way they command on the phone. I'm like, you're talking to your wife like that. Okay, let me keep my mouth shut, so
yeah.
Who knows what's going on anywhere.
It's a shame because obviously, as you said, the children are left in the middle of this and their little brains are having to figure it out what's going on. Why is daddy not here this night? And why have we suddenly moved out of the home, or what, all these different things. And the thing is, what most people need to understand, for those people that are saying they remain in that violent relationship because of their children, sometimes your children are better for it when you leave that relationship. I can't remember who was I speaking to the other day, and the person said to me, when she left her husband, she asked her 5-year-old child and said, "Do you miss daddy?" "I miss daddy." And the child was like, "Why would you miss daddy? Somebody that is always shouting on you."
Oh my God, that's a smart child.
Do you understand? And the person said, why would you miss that? I don't miss him. Why are you missing him? He's always shouting on you. Okay, so we think the children don't see these things, but they do. And sometimes some children do better in a single parent home than children who grew up in both parents' home, because as you all said, the parents are busy dragging each other, insulting each other. They don't have the decency to do it away from the child. When that thing enters their head, they just do it, and the children are internalizing all of this, and the home is no longer a safe environment for the child, and it becomes a very hostile environment. Just before we round up, I'm just going to throw this question out. When you see someone who's going through domestic violence and you're trying to encourage them, and you're trying, just like in your case, Victoria with Chacha, you were trying to encourage her, you were there for her, you and your other colleagues were trying to be there for her, to support her.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden she did a 360 and said, you're trying to break her home, you're jealous because your marriage didn't work, you think her marriage is like yours and all of that. At what point do you retract and say, you know what, so your turn to, oh Israel, you carry your cross and I'll carry my cross. At what point do you then say, I'm not interested anymore? Wherever you see, you take. Or do you continue to try and speak to this person until they come out of that relationship?
You don't continue to speak to the person, because they're going to blame you for everything. And actually living a toxic relationship on its own is not easy. With children, it's really, really tricky. And in Nigeria, where there's no support, it is very, very tricky. Because even though she's able to go and work to earn the money, where will the children be? Who will be taking them to school and bringing them back home from school every other day? She has to employ a nanny and stuff like that. But you can't, it's worse if there's something else involved, like drugs and stuff. It's worse. It's not straightforward, right? Just like they have to wean them out of it. They need to be weaned off each other, and that is hard. And that is very, very hard. So she could, I'm still waiting, like tomorrow she could actually come out and say, I have this, and my husband, because she swore to God in the video that the man has never touched her. And we hear that the man gives her a full-blown beating, and stuff like that. So it's a bit like with the Osinachi lady. Whenever she's pregnant, he ignores her. As soon as the baby comes, she is a money-making machine. The attention starts again. So whenever there's pregnancy, there's an issue and stuff like that. So I do not even support anyone going on and on to convince a victim to leave. No, I stopped it. I don't. I mean, after a comedian's wife, whom I was even correcting, telling the husband, you are married. You shouldn't be holding a woman like this in public. And the comedian's wife called me out. The husband, the comedian, even put my picture and said, never you mock a pain you haven't felt. Hello, like I haven't cheated. I didn't cheat on my ex. So I'm not mocking you. I'm just telling you that what you're doing is out of order. But the wife came at me. And I'm thinking, it was so funny because I even know who the wife is dating. So I'm like,
exactly, that's why she came at you. I think I saw that. But that's why she came at you, because you're trying to shatter an already fragile sort of edifice they built.
He saw that, as in few years back, the wife was taking lunch to my friend's husband in the office, and my friend felt what's going on. And I said, ask the husband what's going on. Why is she's in London with the children? Why is somebody else's wife taking food to him in his office? And obviously, we all know when the husband also reacted, beat her up, kicked her out of the house. We all know who went and paid for a flat for her. The same, my friend's ex-husband now, because all this thing affected the marriage. So I know all that. And you're coming to say whatever. So I just feel Nigerians, they love being in a toxic relationship. And let me tell you another truth. Now in Nigeria, they say, being married is like having a meal ticket to getting the richest guy to date.
Yeah.
Most
really?
rich men,
Yes.
they don't want to date single girls because they don't want you to be on their case, calling them or even getting pregnant for them. So the safest people they can date is a married woman, because the married woman would not be calling them all the time. And the married woman would not just decide to keep the pregnancy. Even if she gets pregnant, she will deal with it.
Or give it to her husband.
Or give it to her. Well, these days, they're now finding that so many men are now
DNA.
But there's truth in what you just said. It's exactly what Burna Boy did or attempted to do. He was calling out somebody else's wife, and they warned these guys, please, she's our wife, she's with us, bye. They refused until they shot people. It is true, and this is exactly, this is a pandemic or endemic in Benin. They say that's what they do in Benin now. Every married woman is in some other guy's trousers.
Really?
And that's what, yeah, big time.
It was forbidden, oh, I don't understand.
Leave those things. People, what is forbidden? I
I'm
beg
just
you.
showing you the reason. So
What is more forbidden than the apple in the Garden of Eden and Eve still plucked it? How much more this? I beg you. That was forbidden and was ordered by God, Jehovah the Father. And Eve said, put that story somewhere and still ate it. How much more today? I beg you.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so it's just social media is bringing it out for us so much. It's been there. We've seen a lot, we've heard a lot. We just keep our mouth shut. I've seen a lot in this London. I just keep my mouth shut and I say, wow. And that's it, zip forever.
Where do the women get the time to do it anyway?
You'll be surprised. They will find time. If you're in this game, you'll find time. Trust me. If you're in this game, there's plenty of time. I tell myself I don't have time. If I were in that game, I will find time. Seriously. I will find time. You'll find time for what gives you joy. Trust me.
Gives you pleasure, exactly.
Or pleasure.
That's true.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It is about, having said that though, we can laugh and we can be serious too, but we know where we come from, the society where we come from. Everybody's keeping up with the Joneses once they're on social media and they call themselves influencer. This Abby talked about whether the kids have any love from these parents. It is possible that both of them don't even care for their kids. They have paid nanny. They have paid nanny caring for these kids.
Money.
Yeah, so the kids don't even know that. Yeah.
The more money you're making. Look at this program.
Yeah.
They call something Housewives of Lagos. Or
Yeah.
something. I have never seen a toxic program like that.
I've not watched any one of the Housewives business.
I tried because my daughter was watching. I sat down with her. I told her, remove this rubbish. What is this? All they do is curse and swear. How many women there are married? They're all just cursing at themselves. Like, is that what the society is teaching young people?
It is what it is now. It's being televised. It's always been there though, but
at least there's no nudity. It's the Big Brother Nigeria. I can't even stand. That one is just a porn show. I can't even.
I think is it that bad now?
Where a married woman slept with somebody else, came out of the show, and the husband went and welcomed her.
He should. If I not go welcome her, what not be Sandy go eat. Because
it's just ludicrous. I don't.
Because coming out of that place is a ticket for him and the wife to get into some governor's office. Look. If they tell you what is really happening in that place, you will just say, you know what? We don't know they have. There's nothing. The morality is gone out of the window. But it's been like that though for a long time. It's just social media is just put it on full glare because anything you do now, people catch you, small clip of it, you're on the social media. Yeah. Otherwise, everything is happening everywhere, man.
Anyway.
It's only who they never catch.
Yeah. Anyway, just to bring this to an end. Sorry, Adiga, you wanted to say something?
I just want to say, going back to that question, there's this thing we say in our there's this thing we say in our in Nigeria that husband and wife matter, they know they talk good. And there's a reason they say it.
Yes,
because 80% of the time, the abuser and the abused will make up with you.
And abuse you, the third party.
Yes, now that's what they did to me now.
Yeah.
So when Vicky was saying her story, I wasn't surprised because I've almost been a victim. You know the funny thing? You didn't even talk. You just gave a little bit of advice to the woman. And when she wants to go back, you didn't even say don't go back. You let her go back. And yet they still see the one way you do for inside. I'm sorry to use it's
Nigeria we're talking to.
Yeah, it's fine.
We're talking to Nigerians, so they should understand. It's a shame though that women are not getting help, but
everybody carry your cross.
I just feel like my pain is, we know that this whole system is already damaged. This Nigeria thing, this whole dating thing, nobody have respect or dignity for anything again as far as money is involved. But my point is, you actually have a platform for the domestic. It just really, really, really icks me to understand that social media, they all come to social media and live this fake life. Okay, why don't you just use the fake life as well to address domestic violence for the lame man and woman that are struggling in their own house?
Exactly.
You have this great platform, you have this fan base, you know that when you say something, people will listen, relate to it. And sometimes some people use that to get encouraged if they have similar situation. And then you just use it, ridicule it, and made it look rubbish. And then people are still going there. The thing is, the stupid fans. I just, someone when I open social media and see this whole thing, Big Brother, they are giving money. I just kind of let it go.
Yes.
Anyway, I think it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. I think it's just getting. I wonder what things would be like in 10, 15 years from now. Like
something has to happen.
Yeah.
The level of education has to go up. You see, you throw an idiom, you throw a metaphor in a joke, and an average Nigerian kid does not even get what you're saying. I remember when we were growing up, they taught us literature in English, where you actually had to read the lines in books. And I just see them. Sometimes it gives me heartache when I see posts and I see spellings on social media.
Not even that. Go on Twitter and put one liner of things talking about domestic violence. Remember, you'll get about 5 likes and that's all. But go there, just check the bomb. 1 million, you'll become a star. Then you see your society, you then see the mindset of the people from our country.
People are now leaking their sex tapes.
Yes, now.
Throw it out there.
Yeah, like Tiwa Savage did. She leaked a tape by herself.
You know, whatever. And they get more popular and
and you walk away from that saga.
They like those. You feel like drop traffic to my page. There's no press like bad press. Less traffic come to my page. It's just because of the sick society that actually we actually let something like that influence you. Like if like this Amber case, that happened in America, she literally ruined her career with her own hands. But if the case was somewhere in Nigeria, tomorrow she's going to be
get endorsements.
Something because they don't even care whatever she stands for, whether it was right or wrong, whatever it is. As far as her name comes up and everybody wants to listen to it, that's it. That's all they want to know, And then I don't want to mention this other lady's name. What's her name? Toto DK something. When I just like, why? Does it? We have technology. We have smart
to be deputy governor of a state.
Yes,
I saw that.
Are you kidding me?
So say that again, Victoria. She's the what?
Deputy governor candidate for a party.
Deputy governor of
Rivers State.
I saw that, and I didn't quite understand what was going on. I thought it was some sort of endorsement or.
No, but anyone should aspire. Anyone can aspire. It's good she's aspiring. Yeah, it's good that she's aspiring. Let's see how it happens.
Okay. Anyway, let me bring this topic to an end. We can continue this conversation backstage because crazy things are happening. And I hope that Chacha, aka Fanny, and her family will find some sort of peace with this. I hope, this is not just another mental health episode she's going through. And I hope that, she's able to come out of this and I hope those children are okay wherever they are. And I just pray that she's okay. If she's really going through domestic violence, I hope she's able to totally remove herself from that toxic environment and, and raise her children. And I just want to give a shout out to those single mothers and fathers out there, because it's not easy. People try to stay in a marriage because they want to remain married, because they want that name or that so-called respect that marriage gives to the society. But by so doing, they are damaging the children who are seeing what's going on within the home, how the parents are treating each other. And then they project that in their own relationship. And before you know it, you have a vicious cycle where the child of an abuser also becomes an abuser, and it keeps going on and going on, So if Chacha is watching this, if she has left that marriage, she should receive strength and know that she hasn't done the wrong thing. She should go and bring up her children in a way that they can grow up and know that if her husband is really abusing her, and know that the way the father treats her is not the right way, because she has 3 girls. Right. And if care is not taken, those children, those girls would be thinking this is how a man should treat a woman.
Exactly.
And that in itself is damaging because any of our children can go and marry one of those girls and before you know it,
No,
you know.
no, where are they meeting?
No.
Where would they meet?
No,
But
God
anyway,
forbid.
we're going to bring this topic to an end. Thank you again to this panel for coming on such short notice. I really, really appreciate it. I cannot even tell you guys enough how much I appreciate you being here. And thank you for joining us on this premiere. And we will see you again same time next week. We try to bring the latest topics to your TV screens. But thank you for joining us and for sticking with us for this long. Until next time, we'll see you next week. Thank you guys, and bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.